But the most beautiful thing about creating change is getting to understand where you are so you can understand where you want to go.
Welcome to this week's show. This is the Relaunch podcast, and tingles, excitement, joy. I am here today with someone who is going to elevate you in such a significant way. She already did it even in the few minutes before we hit go time. And why is that? Because this woman knows people, she knows energy, and most importantly, she has done a lot of soul searching around herself. And that's where it all starts. And so she's going to be bringing the goods today. Her name is Dilan Gomih, which is such a fabulous last name. She's a celebrated speaker, fitness specialist, and founder of Diligence, a company that helps organizations and individuals achieve high performance through actual well-being. Her combination of corporate expertise, work as a fitness trainer, and okay, everyone, listen to this. She's got a Harvard MBA and a BA from Yale. Yeah, she's one of those types, like really, really dumb here. We're talking dumb. Go me. And this allowed her to create the 60-second workout, which is a unique methodology that helps busy professionals like you take control of their time and actually transform your productivity and performance. And how she's doing this is by prioritizing your well-being through a workout that is going to be custom tailored to fit to your personal and professional lives. Who wants to hear about this? Well, it's been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Oprah Daily, New York Times, Business Insider, Pop, Sugar, Shape Magazine, and Pure Wow, which, by the way, this gal is pure wow. Dilan, thank you so much for being here and lighting up my audience right now.
Hilary, thank you so much for having me. And for those that are not watching the video, which you should, my cheeks are blushing. Like, I'm just like, my cheeks are so warm. Can I take you on the road everywhere I go? Because talk about pure joy and energy. That is you. I couldn't be happier to be here.
And I felt the same about, like, I was just like, yes, I saw your name, and I get such energy from people, like empath times 10. And you have something that is truly your superpower. And I'm so excited for you to share that with everyone listening today. But before we go into that, part of why you are so unique and such a big force here in the market is because of your relaunch journey. And specifically, what you've had to go through to get to where you are right now and how it's impacted you. So, can we kind of like turn back time and let's start with that really significant relaunch that's shaped you?
We certainly can. And I'm smiling because every time I flash back to that place, I realize how many people don't realize that my journey actually started on a Wall Street trading floor. Like, I myself was somebody who was sprinting through 90-hour weeks where I'm looking at the sun right now. I was like, back then, I didn't really do that as much. Like, my day started at 6 a.m. and they ended after the sun went down. And some people would think like, oh, that just must have meant that you were burnt out, you weren't functioning. The nature of the Wall Street life is a lot of people you meet, they are functioning. But the questions were,
Isn't that true? Isn't that true right there? They are functioning.
they are functioning.
We're going through the motions.
And it's not constrained to Wall Street. Like, I meet people every single day that are like, I'm surviving. And the question is, do you want to be surviving or do you want to be thriving? And we are not in this world to just get through each day. And that was the nature of my life back then. I was getting stuff done, but the light was gone from my eyes. Like, that was something that my mom would sometimes tell me during those weeks.
Yeah, I call it that fire in your belly, but I like the light in your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
it wasn't to say
sport.
I was, like I had some wonderful people around me, but the real difference was I just was not living my life to the fullest.
Mhm.
I never would have expected, as somebody who like grew up playing sports, that the unlock that was missing for me was fitness. So Hilary, when somebody was like, hey, you're gonna go ride bikes in an indoor dungeon in this like boutique fitness studio and the bikes aren't gonna move, I'm like, this sounds like not the right idea. I still have work to do. This is probably not what I should be doing when I'm feeling so stressed about getting my work done. But to make a super, like long story short, when I walked out of that class, the endorphin rush that I got from just taking 45 minutes, not to work out, but for myself to feel better, was the first time that I realized like reharnessing my well being was for me. It wasn't for a sport, it was in service of me being the best person that I could be to everyone else in the
So,
world.
Dylan, I have to ask you because you were on the trading floor, you were working 80 to 90-hour weeks. And how did you, like, what really got you to that point where I'm going to get on that bike in the dungeon and I'm going to ride it? Like, what brought you there?
Yeah. The big difference, well, initially it was somebody forcing me to go. After that, it became, as opposed to well being or fitness being the afterthought, it was the recognition of, I feel better, I'm more accomplished, I'm more productive when I do this thing. So it has to go first. It has to be part of my preparation. And it wasn't just the fitness. It's realizing, like, if we recall, I had to be up before the sun to be able to get to work. That meant that my workouts had to be before the sun, which meant that I had to sleep earlier and be productive the day before to create this whole flywheel of well-being in my life. Getting to bed at a decent hour has allowed me what allowed me to do my workout. That's
So
what allowed me to
you
show
had to
up at work.
literally change your habits. You had to create new habits around this new getting up early and going and working out.
And I realized that sounds much larger to a lot of people. They're like, oh, you had to do a complete overhaul. But it's really the little tweaks that made the biggest difference. It was, oh, if I get to bed an hour earlier, the alarm's less of a slog. If I
I
stay a
call
little,
I call these micro pops.
yeah,
These pops of
yeah,
inspiration, these pops of like if you did it, it would
yeah,
actually really help you. Just small
yeah.
micro pops. Yeah.
Real small micro pops. And those became my offensive strategy where I thought about like, this is how I'm going to get the best out of my individual days.
Mm.
But I also have to think about like these bigger moments that I saw on the trading floor where I kid you not, I saw somebody lose their life. And this was somebody who had a senior title. They were a managing director. So for anyone who's not familiar with finance, it's a very senior title. They'd accomplished all measures of success, wealth, and at a fairly early age had a heart attack and passed away. What they didn't have was their well-being. They hadn't had the ability to take these little micro pops, these little
Mm.
5, 10 minute things that when we think about cardiovascular disease, and in addition to genetics, one of the most preventable things that you can do are these lifestyle factors. How are you taking care of your body? Are you finding time to move? Movement literally saves life. Are you finding time to fuel your body the right way?
Mm.
And Ilya, I wasn't sure if I was going to tell you about like this really, really personal story, but I am going to tell you.
Uh,
Where my own father, who is still with us today, so I'm going to start with that part now. He is 76, still working as a surgeon,
mm.
and I only like recently found out he is one of 14 brothers. I know 14 is a big number. I say recent. I know,
Yeah,
right? I was like,
where's she going with this?
I was
This
like,
was
how? It's like,
okay.
how'd you find out? Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Most of my uncles passed away early cardiovascular disease. My dad is still with us today, and the biggest thing that he does, part of his success strategy, is he wakes up and he moves 10 to 15 minutes.
Hmm. Has he
And
always done this?
he's
Has
done this since my oldest brother was born, so he's been doing this for well over 40 years. And that was his micro pop, and it's almost like we discount these little things. Somebody might hear 10 to 15 minutes and think that doesn't mean anything. Well, I can tell you, for me, for my family, and the fact that my dad is 76,
Mm.
still getting up. When you talk about joy, if you think I'm joyful, this is somebody that walks around with a smile on his face, greets his patients. Everybody like knows who he is and knows him as a happy, joyful person. He's saying that 10 to 15 minutes has saved my life. and made it so I can be here for everyone else that I care about.
I want to add something to this. My dad too was a doctor. He was a surgeon, orthopedic surgeon, and he died last year at 80, 2 weeks shy of 88. And his father had a heart attack at, I believe it was 78, and passed soon after, unfortunately, from a car crash, not from an actual heart attack. But
So
here's
sorry.
something I want to say. My dad, every single morning before he got in the shower, would do these crazy exercises into the mirror. The arm, the stretching, the jogging in place. And I remember walking in so many times and I'd put my hand over my eyes. I'd be like, Dad, well, you gotta wear clothes when you're doing that. And his answer was, well, you're in my bathroom. You're in my bathroom. But what he was doing is exactly what you're saying your dad did.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
I've never really thought about like the whole why he was really doing this. He must have done it for 5 to 10 minutes every single day. He had his routine. And yeah, that probably allowed him to live a longer life. Wow.
100%.
So
So
your
like
dad, 14, a one of 14, siblings and all boys. Is that what you said?
one of 14 brothers.
Brothers, yes. And so
God bless
you're
my
you're
grandma.
you're now on the floor and you're trading and you're doing everything in the finance world. You obviously are one heck of a smart woman. You've been to Yale, you've been to Harvard, you got your MBA, and the light went on. And then what happened?
People are constantly trading off high performance. They see the path to success as the reason that they have to trade off their health versus we can have a world, we can have an ecosystem where these two things go hand in hand. And you can show people these little micro pops, these little tweaks that they actually enjoy doing that are their unlock. That
How
make
great
it
is
so.
it the siren right now is going off behind you?
Oh,
It's like, everybody listen in. This is important.
if you're wondering where I live, it's definitely a metropolitan city. So I was like, now you know. Now you know. You can find me on the East Coast. But that was the biggest thing is so many people go through their lives hard charging, sprinting so hard, realizing that if you want to reap that harvest, along the way, you have to invest in yourself and you have to invest in taking care of yourself. And that investment isn't as big as you think. It's those little minutes. It's those little reclamations of your time and your mind.
But I
Don't make the
have to
big.
say that when you're in a stress situation, and I've shared with you, and I'm going to share with everybody very soon what's been happening in my world in the last week. Sometimes, you're just like, let me just get through this. Let me just, survive. As you said, thrive. I'm like, thrive is like, that seems pretty far out there right now. I'm just surviving. I just want to be, so there's the pressure of work, there's the pressure of relationships, there's the pressure we put on ourselves. How do you make time when you feel like you have no time? That there's
100%.
so many things pulling you in different directions.
100%. And the first thing that I'll usually say to people is like, don't worry about the loss of your time. The real question is, what do I need to do right now to get my energy back? What is one thing I can do right now to relieve that tightening in my chest, to say, I need to take a deep breath. But addressing that time piece is why I came up with the 60-second workout. And again, so a little unlock for people. In the midst of sprinting 80 to 90 hour weeks, I am falling in love with fitness. I also started teaching 10 classes at a fitness studio and get certified in everything that I could because I was obsessed with the human body and obsessed with getting people to discover what I discovered. But the understanding of what you just said, where it's not that these competing priorities don't matter. Of course they do. I totally get that because I've lived that. But I also got extremely lucky in discovering my passion for helping people to move and reclaim their bodies that allowed me to understand, how do I meet them in the middle? And it may sound a little like a hot take. It may sound a little aggressive because I know what it feels like to be this person, but everyone can find 1 minute.
I love what you just said. These 1 minute exercises. I did, I have forced myself to, between calls, between meetings. If somebody cancels on me, it's like, hallelujah. I actually
That's
went
right.
for a run yesterday. I'm like,
That's
the next person, poor person, got to see me sweaty and gross. And I'm like, it's okay. I got my run in. But 1 minute, why did you decide 1 minute versus 2 minutes versus 5, 10? How'd you do it?
I chose, sorry, I'm like, if you can't see me on the video, I'm literally wiggling because it makes me so happy. It is my greatest joy to show people that 1 minute can absolutely be effective in your body. And here's the secret. I could probably get you to feel your core in 30, but you use that extra 30 seconds to be proud of yourself for reclaiming your time and realizing if I can take 1 minute, I can find these pockets one other place. So the 60-second workout is actually something where I won't make you stand up because your framing is so beautiful, but you actually start with your hands over your head and you drop down into a squat. And the squat is one of the most beautiful core moves in the book because it can tell you so much about your body. So for example, if your arms are falling forward, that might be a sign that you need to strengthen your back and strengthen your shoulders, maybe because you're standing at a desk
So
for too long,
good.
right? And if you're starting to knock in your knees, it might be a sign that you need to strengthen your inner thighs or strengthen your legs. But for this, when you drop into a squat and just hold this for 10 seconds, you're like, maybe I don't feel it yet. And then I'll encourage you to pulse for another 10 seconds. I'm not even asking you to jump. And I'm going to ask you to hold again. And you know what? You might start to feel this in 30
I got to
seconds.
do this. You know what?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, we're going to do it
I mean,
together. We're going to
come
do it
on.
together. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. So we're all going to drop into this 60-second workout together. So we're going to drop down. I'm putting on my timer. You know, I was ready for it. I was like, is Hilary going to do this with me? Yes, she's going to do it with me. Here we go. We're going to drop down into the 6-second workout, moving this shit out of the way in 3, 2, and we're doing it together. We're just going to hold. We're going to keep our arms up. So lift your arms up just a little bit more, Hilary. Biceps, frame those ears. And shoulders back. Oh my God, your form is so great. Okay, you and I are
My
going to pulse.
legs are starting to shake.
You got this. We're doing it together. We're going to go to at least 30 together. We're going to pulse in 3, 2, let's pulse. Oh. Yeah, Hilary. Crushing it. Okay, we're
Feeling
gonna
it.
do one more hold in 4, 3, 2, one more hold with me. And then we're going to count it out. Last 8, 7, 6, arms a little more back. Yeah, there we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, breathe.
Oh, girl.
Did you feel that a little bit?
Yeah, I felt it actually a lot.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so what does that do for me? Right there. I just did
Yes.
it. What is going on inside my body?
Did you feel your heart rate go up just a little bit?
Yes, totally.
You got your
100%.
Could you feel it in your core?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think the squat is just for legs. No, your core is your abs, it's your back. More importantly, we did that in 30 seconds. Did we take our time back together and prove that we can make even 30 seconds effective?
God, I love this. I think it is so incredible. So, why does this matter so much to you?
Because if you can do this for 30 seconds, you can do anything else that you need to do. So I'm so not even attached to this squat. You can find your one thing to get back to productive, whether it's taking a deep breath, whether it's standing up, whether it's realizing that, you know what, that person that sent that really aggressive email, they're not going to take control of your day. You control your time. You control your mind. This is part one of why it matters. So many people think that they've lost control of their time. They've lost control of their lives. And to the point of not getting through our days just surviving, realizing you can take these little increments of time to get your joy back. Get back to thriving. With this power that is within your own body and your mind, you get your control back.
So, how many times are you really saying to see the benefits in your body? How many of these do you have to do? How many of these 1-minute exercises?
When I say body, I mean body and mind. And I'd even just say what we did right now, saying we can take 30 seconds of our time back, we've already been effective. And it unlocks your capacity to go from thinking, oh, I don't have 30 minutes to do a workout, but I do have 10 minutes. And that's very much so the world that I've helped people get into is understanding when I can't do this, I can do this. I may not be able to do this, but I can do this. And this is what I've been working with organizations and the executives within them to realize when it comes to performance, You're playing offense and trying to put your well-being, whether it's your physical energy, your mental energy, like how often are you actually able to do things from start to finish first? But every time you detect the fact that your heart is racing, you're feeling a little bit of a headache, you're starting to feel stress in your body, what is the simple thing that you can do in 1 minute, whether it's actually this 60-second workout, or I don't say one size fits all. You can come up with your own for your mind, for your body, that allows you to say, I'm not going to let the circumstances of the day control who I am or what I do. I am taking my control back.
Okay, so you did mention that you go into corporations, you work with, everyone in companies, execs to, people that are doing every bit of, running a business. How do you go in and structure a program? So for those listening right now, and they're like, okay, that's great, but you're asking me to think about my 1 minute exercises.
Yeah.
How are you doing this?
Yeah. So one of my favorite ways to work with teams, especially executive teams, are these workshops and seminars where you value your health, you know it's important to you, and your own question to yourself is, why are you doing it? So first, these workshop seminars, they could be everything from an hour to 90 minutes where we either have a physical component or it's just a conversation. I'll literally take you through the mind-body connection, your understanding of your energy. But the most beautiful thing about creating change is getting to understand where you are so you can understand where you want to go. So I also help them evaluate where they are and come up with their own tailored strategy for themselves. What is their own game plan? And then you said something really beautiful earlier about how you got on a Zoom call and you might have been sweaty from a run, knowing you looked absolutely stunning and gorgeous because you're you.
You're so sweet. Thank
Come on,
you.
Hilary. Come on,
Go
Hilary.
me. Go
Like,
me.
that's right, Hilary. Let's just be real about the situation. Okay. But I bet to that person that you got on the Zoom call with, they were like, wow, I want to do that. I wish that I could actually just squeeze in the time. The biggest takeaway I hope to leave leaders with is you could have all the corporate wellness programs and shiny whistles in the world, but if you yourself aren't modeling the practices, the people below you aren't going to feel empowered or feel like it's okay to do it. So whether it's, I had an amazing conversation with somebody the other day, like after we did one of our workshops, they're like, you know what? I turned my ketchup with my junior person on my team into a walking ketchup. Like, perfect. Nailed the assignment. It was something they were already comfortable doing. The junior was comfortable doing it. There is a reason that you feel better after you do a little walk, They're neurotransmitters.
Yeah,
You know this well.
tell us what's going on in your body when you do these small things, or when you go for a walk, or when you go for a run. And it is interesting what you said, because the woman I was interviewing, she said, God, I wish I just went for a run. She's like, I have been sitting at this chair, at this desk all day long. Oh, I so want to go for a run. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where people I almost want them to just play that tape back for themselves. Why did you want to go on for a run? It's not a fluke. When you move, there's oxygen going to your brain. You're increasing your blood flow. So your brain is actually your brain needs oxygen to think, to operate. So you're making better decisions. You're thinking more clearly when you're giving your prefrontal cortex what it needs. Other thing is after, most of the science says it's at least after 10 minutes, there's literal neurotransmitters that affect your mood. Dopamine.
Happy hormones.
Happy hormones.
No doubt.
It's not an accident. And the thing I really want to address for folks that say, you know what? I get my workout in every single day. I'm so happy for them and I'm incredibly proud of them. But I'm also thinking about, what are you doing those 10 to 12 hours a day that you're sitting? And realizing that there's these little things that you can do where, again, I know you're functioning, but wouldn't you rather be high functioning than just getting through?
Wow. Think about what you just said. That resonates so much with me, because when I work out, I think, I did it. Like it's a check on my box. I did it today. I did my 30 minutes, and I don't really think about needing anything more. Wow, that is good. That's where, even if I've done something, everybody think about what you're doing. Like, because so many times, I talk to people and I'm like, oh, what is your workout routine? Well, I like to work out 3 to 5 times a week. How long? Oh, 30, 45, 60 minutes. Great. And we don't talk about the other little things. And then we sit in these chairs or we, are on, with our phone, with the head kind of tilted to the side. You're right. So tell me, right now you have programs that you have developed.
Yeah.
So for that person listening right now, and they want to understand your program, tell us about the actual, not like sitting in one of your, workshops or something, but now I'm here, I'm an entrepreneur. My lifestyle is I could literally sit for 10 hours a day on calls, talking to people on Zoom. What could we do?
Here's how we figure out what each person's tailored strategy is. You mentioned this at the very beginning. I operate through a state of joy. There's no point in making people do things that they're not going to enjoy doing because it's not sustainable for you. So first things first, and there's always something, even the person that says, I've never moved a day in my life, is understanding what is it that you actually enjoy doing. Then I like to understand what's your why. And some people will say it starts with work. But if anybody's familiar with the 5 whys, it's always 5 levels deeper than that, right?
So true.
It is. And that's okay. That's part of this process. It's a safe space and it's a beautiful thing to get to the root, because partnered with things that you actually like to doing and what you truly, truly know is important in your life, that's how we create a customized strategy that it's not meant to be one size fits all, that will start to slot into your day. The biggest thing that I love to address with people is I hear phrases like this: I meant to do X and then somebody scheduled over it. I meant to do this, but my board member called. I have an investor call. My kids' pickup time changed. And we prepare for that. This is why I use the word strategy. This isn't why I don't use the word prioritize. I don't necessarily say self-care, because life can and will happen.
We call them relaunches. Yes.
Yes.
The micro and the macros will happen.
The micros and the macros will is. And I think you had this beautiful quote from your mom. It is what it is. What
so now what?
Yes. So now what?
Yes.
And when you know this, when you're prepared for that, again, this all goes back to reclaiming your own energy, which is like, okay, I meant to do this. Now I have this amount of time. This is the best use of my time. And it goes beyond movement too. It even starts at the very beginning of our day. One of the biggest things that I generally ascribe to most people is so many people will mention, like, from the moment I wake up, I feel like my day has been hijacked. I'm like, what if from the moment you woke up, the first 2 minutes of the day were your own and just your own thoughts? Don't pick up your phone. Think about what you want out of the day. And then when you do pick up that phone, you know what? I won't even scare you with 2 minutes. 1 minute on your own to say, this is what I want out of my day. That is part of your own health and well-being, your mind and how you view everything. And then when you pick up your phone, anything else you see has to fit into that framework that you have already orchestrated for your life. You get to dictate your circumstances of the day. And then when things start to change, you're ready for them. It's not going to throw you. You're like, this is difficult.
But do you recommend more? You mentioned mind body.
Yeah.
Right? Give us one of your best mind. You talked breathing, you talked like mind. What can you do in 1 minute or less that you think is the most impactful? If everyone, listening just does one thing, what would that be?
In addition to the one that I just mentioned, I strongly recommend that people actually create a focus mode for themselves, where they make it so no notifications pop up on their screen. They only think about themselves. Stand up, take a deep breath, and think about, what do I need to do next? Take a deep breath. Why a deep breath? It's the easiest way to remind yourself that you are here and that you're alive. And don't underestimate that. Don't underestimate that every second that you exist, every moment that you have another opportunity in this world, you can change the trajectory for your life and what you're optimizing for. So that's the biggest thing. Put your phone down, stand up, take a deep breath.
Yeah. Can I say something that
Yes, please.
just reminded me, you brought up my mom, and I was with my mom when she took her last breath. I held her hand, and it was such a profound experience for me because I had never thought of breath in that way. And for those that hear what I'm saying and you've had this happen to you with somebody you love, it puts a different perspective on the feeling of being able to sit up and take in that enormous breath. Because when you exhale for the last time, it's so quiet and done. It's so final. It's so life is over. And so thank you for bringing that perspective there, because it is, you control, although it is, it will do it without you even thinking about it, but you can control right now how much air you put into your own lungs. And I often have thought, when I'm stressed, and I have been this week, in a big way, my breaths are very, like, they're short. They're not a lot. So I'm only getting a little of that oxygen. So I've had to take some relaunch steps this week, tune in and acknowledge the fact that a deeper breath actually helps reset me. And so that was
100%.
beautiful. So how can people who are like, I want a program, I want Dylan and Go Me, I want to be able, which I love. I think your program should be called Go Me, Dylan Go Me. That is the best last name ever. But how can they get in touch with you, and how long does it take to create? How much time do they have to invest before they can start seeing results with you?
Yes. So the easiest way to find me is on my website, diligence.com, or on LinkedIn. We can absolutely connect there. And I would love to find ways to partner together, whether it's a workshop or with your organization, finding times for one-on-one coaching. That's the easiest way for us to get started. When it comes to making change, the first and most important thing is the commitment, and saying, like, this is something that I'm actually going to start building into my week on a weekly basis, and starting even just for like a month, 4 sessions, we'll be well on our way.
You're saying start with 4 sessions, 4 times a day. You're just doing it.
For their coaching. So like at least four coaching
Okay,
sessions.
okay.
But for
'Cause I'm
themselves,
like,
even if you do
I'm
one
still
60
thinking,
second
how
workout.
many of these leg squats do I need to do?
Oh, for that, and that's where we can have so much more fun. And that's like an understanding yourself thing, right? So for some people, it's, you know what, after each meeting, I'm going to stand up and do my own 60-second workout. For other people, it's something more along the lines of, and this is what I'm saying, as much as I love the squat, I'm open to it. I have another delightful client that has weights at their desk. So depending on what day it is, we have sticky notes up on their mirror if it's like a Monday, and she's doing 3 bicep curls, 3 kickbacks, puts them down. And if she has more time, she'll do it again, right? So it's like, it's because, and why is specifically that? It's because she doesn't need to shower, because she can do that really fast without getting sweaty. It's at her desk, so it's convenient. Most importantly, we put that there because she likes to do it. So she does, and has done so.
Awesome. I need to get a couple of those small weights. My arms, I've been told, are chicken arms, and they're getting a little like, the chicken wings. I love it. I'm doing it. I'm getting a couple
Hilary, you
weights.
can do no wrong, but like literally, and keep it at your desk. It's like, don't make it hard for yourself. And for some, like I literally have detailed programs for people where it's like, you have 30 minutes, you're doing this, 20 minutes, you're doing this, 10 minutes, you're doing this, your time has changed, you're doing this. So that way they don't have to think about it. That's the main thing.
This is so exciting because right downstairs, I actually have these weights that are like bracelet weights. They're,
Yeah.
and I thought, why don't I just wear those? Like, they're downstairs. I only use them when I'm, barely doing anything down there. But why not? I love it. And I do. I tune in, I dance multiple times a day.
Yes.
I'm doing it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It has to be the thing that you like.
So
know what I
good.
read the other day that I'm
What?
absolutely obsessed with? So Dolly Parton, who, in case anybody has not read about Dolly Parton recently, she is 77, released a studio album at the end of last year, was wearing a cheerleading costume at the CMAs and looked absolutely fantastic. That is high performance. What is her favorite thing to do? How does she get moving? She
I
dances.
love it.
Like she
That's my
says she
girl.
praise dances. I'm like, all it has to do is fit your life, and your testaments to it are Dolly. They are people like my dad. They are people like your dad. Like
Hmm.
these don't need to be anomalies.
I
Find the
love
joy in
this.
movement.
Again, where is a spot they can find you? What is a good
Diligence.com or Dylan
diligence?
Gomih at LinkedIn.
Com. We're going to have show notes. Make sure if you have something has resonated and you have had an epiphany on, I am going to do this, let us know. Make sure you're
Please do.
commenting because this is your health. This is something that you can own. And I was just thinking, if you do this 10 times a day, right?
Yes.
Maybe it's on the hour, you're just doing your 1 minute. Think about like the change in your body over a week, over 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm all in. I love this. Dylan, thank you for being here. It was such a pleasure. You made my day. And
Thank you for
everyone,
having me.
again, this is the best way for you to be relaunching, whether it's your business, whether it's your life, whether it's relationships. Hear stories of relaunch inspiration, like we just heard, where she was in finance and then all of a sudden now she's in fitness. I mean, we're talking follow your passion, follow your heart. And then you will end up having the passion for living, for doing, for being. And so, again, thank you for being here. And we will be back next week with another relaunch story. If you like this video and want to get more like it, head over here.